just going to hold this right here.
Welcome to our spring concert. I am going to remind you to silence your cell phones and feel free to remove any fidgety or noisy children to the atrium as we are recording the concert. Our first piece is a little unusual, so I wanted to talk a little bit about it. The Sonata di Chiesa was written by African-American composer Adolphus Hailstork. He was born in 1941 and he grew up in Albany, New York, where he took lessons in singing, violin, piano, and organ, all while in high school. A very talented student, he also conducted a boys' choral ensemble in high school. And this was commissioned in 1992 for the string orchestra of the Thomas Jefferson High School in Alexandria, Virginia. The composer has a fascination with cathedrals, and this work is one that reflects that fascination, although it doesn't do that for me. I like it for other reasons. After the sonata, we will be joined by our wonderful wind ensemble for the next two pieces. And if you look closely, you will see the lovely and talented Jennifer Witherell Stebbins in the clarinet section. Thanks as always to Jen for your preparation of the winds for this concert. And now enjoy. bit of moving around, but not much. I wanted to talk a little bit about the next piece, the Vivaldi Concerto Grosso. Vivaldi created 11 concertos, and the 11th one of which we're playing, it's really like one long movement, there will be no pause. The 11th one of the set caused the biggest stir when it was written. 300 years later, its boldness is still really remarkable. It begins with an introduction in really short segments. Then a kind of musical battle takes place with the solo violins, and it's called a canonic thing, and they sort of answer each other. It's like throwing a ball or having a conversation back and forth. And then there's a really crazy cello part. And then there's a very short adagio. It looks like this is a very long piece, but that little short adagio-y spiccato is 3 measures long. And then we have a fugue that finishes it up. And what's really interesting about this piece is that music of such sustained intensity changed the way composers thought about instrumental music. Before this, it was always as an accompaniment to voice, and the voice was considered the primary vehicle. And Vivaldi really rocked the world with, in particular, this concerto. So the idea that orchestra could rival the voice as a vehicle for important or profound music began to take hold. And so please hold your applause until the very end as these movements are played without pause. So enjoy. That was not an arrangement. That's the way Vivaldi wrote it, and I'm very, very proud of the work that they did. We have worked hard on that Vivaldi, and I think it really showed. And it mostly featured seniors. So I wanted to do a few recognitions at this time. Let me find my notes here. I wanted to talk about, have the people going to Allstate stand up and be recognized. That is Nina Cole on cello, Elizabeth Roy on violin, and Vincent Falardo on viola, sorry, and Vincent Falardo on viola. And I also wanted to recognize Elizabeth Roy. You've probably heard me talk about her again, but she's had quite a year with us because we went to the All-National Orchestra Festival in Texas in the fall, and then more recently we went to the All-Eastern Festival in March. Elizabeth. And for this concert, just in case she didn't have enough to do before that, and with getting ready for Allstate, I made her play second violin on her viola, which is not easy either. So the other people I wanted to talk about today is the Thornton Academy String Quartet. And the members of the quartet are Shannon Danis, you recognize Jenna Dandler, Vincent Falardo, and Nina Cole. And these people have played many, many events and gigs in the greater community. And they meet once a week with a coach outside of school. And they've played for weddings and parties and the honors banquet. And they're going to help me out at the TAMS concert. And they're wonderful. They've been doing a lot of work behind the scenes. So thanks, guys. And now we're going to play The Theory of Everything from the movie The Theory of Everything. we play our last piece, I would like to talk about my amazing seniors. And this time of year is always tough for us. So, I think I have alphabetical order here. Would you guys just stand up as I read your name? Michaela Bergquist is going to Bay State University next year in Boston in entertainment management with a minor in audio engineering. Nina Collet is taking a gap year to explore the options the universe has to offer. Lauren Harmon will be going to the Maine College of Art. And by the way, she's got artwork out here in the gallery, and she's an amazing artist. She's majoring in illustration. Danny Hewitt, he's going to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute. Is that engineering? Yeah. Mechanical engineering. Lauren Kepler has already started going to college at SMCC, majoring in early childhood education, and she will continue that. Glenn Rose will be going to the University of New England, majoring in psychology. Eva Sachs will be going to Springfield College and studying exercise science and pre-med. And Victoria Williams, graduating early. She's really hustled to get out of here. I thought you liked a story. She will be going to Suffolk University in Boston, majoring in theater and English. So I also have one award to give out, and the National School Orchestra Award is given to one student in the orchestra who has shown excellence and dedication to the orchestra. And this person's name will go on a plaque out in the hallway, and at baccalaureate there will be a certificate and a pin. And I always joke that, you know, you can put that on your bathrobe or something. I don't know what you'll do with a pin, but anyway, it's really pretty. This year's award goes to a student who is a talented musician and a writer, one who pushed me to create the string quartet, one who asks hard questions even if she doesn't think she'll like the answer. An excellent cellist and orchestral player, this year's award goes to Nina Collet. So we're going to close with...
Before we do that,
can I have all the seniors come join me? Can you guys hear me? Yeah. All right. So I'll be giving the speech tonight. I am, I think, the only one who's been here since 3rd grade. So I'd like to start off with that. Anne has built a wonderful strings program here that starts at the very young age of, for me, 7 or 8, and can continue until now. And so it's been a wonderful 10 years that I've had with her, and there are many, many other students that get to share this experience with her. Music is an art, and it's always needs to be worked on, and you always need that person who pushes you. And for me, that was Anne, and she helped me continue and through all the hard times and all the good times. So for you, we have this nice live plant. A present.
oh, thank you. You guys know how much I love plants. Thank you, guys. But thank you very much. You guys are a great bunch, and we will miss you very, very much.
to tell you a little bit about this last piece. Maybe you don't like knowing about the music, but I like knowing a little bit about what the composer had in mind. Our last piece, Declarations, is a celebration of the unalienable rights enjoyed by every person in America today, which may or may not be totally true, the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. And his composition seeks to celebrate the diversity that is in America, be it ethnic, religious, or political. It should be played in a spirit of great joy and vivacity, and it is dedicated to all the great free thinkers that have gone before us and those yet to come. And I thought it'd be a really nice way to close our program. And then there'll be a short intermission, and then our amazing band will be on stage. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's always a little bit of a Chinese fire drill when we switch groups and stuff, but you know, they managed to get themselves together pretty good up here, didn't they? This group meets in 3 separate classes, as I think most of you know, so the challenge is getting them all together in a place that's big enough for them. We were just warming up in the cafeteria and I'm like, wow, this is nice. We could play in here all the time. It's big enough, but we can't. They won't let me. We're going to move on with Crown Imperial. It's so much fun being a conductor. I feel like sometimes I forget you're there and I'm like, wow, they're just playing this for me. It's really exciting. And I want to share that excitement for a minute here. We, in my family and school, have had kind of an interesting spring. So the best way I could think to thank this person was to ask him to conduct a piece in the concert, because every time he comes to a rehearsal and subs in for me, he's like, oh man, that's such a nice piece of music. I just love that piece of music. So I'm going to pass the baton right now to my brother-in-law, Mr. David Stebbins.
Good evening and welcome. This is a real pleasure for me to be up here tonight. Many of you know I've been around for a long time, but this is the first chance I've had to conduct the concert band on a program, so thank you, Ms. With. Thank you to the concert band. Just very briefly about this beautiful piece by James Swearingen. If you will picture, if you could, the year is 1755, and Laura Ingalls, is a happily married young woman with 2 children, expecting her third, and she lives in a small Virginia town when all of a sudden this town is taken captive by Shawnee Indians, and she is held prisoner for about 3 or 4 months, about 1,000 miles away from her home. And with all of her will and determination and power, she attempts to get herself back to her Virginia town. And this piece is really written, it's a musical portrayal actually written on a true historical book by the same name, Follow the River. And this song is supposed to represent her struggles and her willingness to make it back to her family. And we hope that we succeeded in getting her there. So enjoy Follow the River.
tuner. If you're looking at it going, why is your phone back there? They,
all these newfangled things they have nowadays sound old. But on their phones, you may or may not know this, but their iPads and their phones have the apps. There's a tuner app that we use a great deal, and it's really improved the intonation of the band a lot. And I had somebody tell me this year, you know, you say that word a lot, I'm not sure I know what it means, which was interesting. But so I told them, obviously, what it means, but when their pitches are moving in the same frequencies, like A440, the same amount of vibrations, they're perfectly in tune. And when you hear that, Mrs. Wilkinson likes to describe it as like a flower that comes and blossoms, because the sound changes when they're perfectly in tune. So that's my long-winded version, giving Grace a few more minutes to tune the timpani. Are we there yet? Can I stop? Okay. 4 boys, and they're all in their 20s now, which is great. I survived the teenage years, and you're going to survive them too, because they can do that. Isn't that amazing? These kids are so cool. They're so awesome. Yeah. You don't get to watch them take the SATs, you don't get to watch them take math tests or presentations in school, but you get to watch them do this. So they can actually focus. They can do what you tell them to, like, okay. It's pretty cool. But they are your children, so thank you for allowing us to spend our time with them. I wanted to take this moment to recognize all the seniors. I have quite a few this year. And I'm just going to ask you guys to all come up front because I don't want to miss anybody. And I have a list because I'm old. I just said if you... Here we go. Ready? Not ready? Look at all of them. It's the good news, bad news, you know. And it's really tough because, I mean, they get to this time of year, and we were talking today, some of us, and we're like, the prom's over, and now it's like all downhill to graduation, but they have all these lasts. And this is their, I'm not going to cry, and neither are you, their last band concert. And most of them have been in band or chorus or orchestra for how many years? Since 5th grade? Yeah, so that's a long time, right? Yes. So I'm going to start down here with Alex. Alex is going to SMCC next year to study art. Noah is going to WPI, which is, tell me, Worcester Polytechnic Institute. These kids are so smart. He's going to be a mechanical engineering major. Miss Jennifer is going to go to the University of Houston, and she's undecided as of yet, but she's become a fantastic jazz piano player. You must come see us for Jazz a la Mode on the 25th. That's Jen. Lucy, precious Lucy, she is going to take a gap year, and she's going to volunteer in a kibbutz. Right? We don't know what that is, but it sounds really fun, doesn't it? It's a kibbutz. Yes. In Israel. That's amazing. Mr. Charlie Lees is going to UMaine, Orono to study vocal performance and business. Interesting combination. Emma is going to Merrimack College, and she's going to major in molecular and cellular biology. Sam is going to Sacred Heart, and do I have your major? I have your major. Pre-law, that's right. It's pre-law. So by the time I get done with this list, we'll have engineers, graphic designers, film and media, a volunteer in kibbutz, a computer science. Do you think that the music in their lives had anything to do with how smart these kids are? Thank you, right? And Lincoln is new to us this year, but she is going to go to USM in the fall, and she does not have a major yet, but she's going to go to USM. Coulter is going to SMCC, and he is undecided as of yet as well, but it's okay. Oh, Miss Katie. Katie is going to UMaine to study music ed, and she's one of my girls that I talk to quite often about transitions, and one of the things that, we have a lot of kids that go to UMaine Orono, and sometimes the kids are like, geez, I don't know, it's just Orono. It's not just Orono. It's a fantastic school, and there's so many opportunities for the kids there, and I hope that when you guys do go off to college that you'll be proud to say that you started at TA. Matt. Matt's going to UMaine, mechanical engineering. Ben is also going to UMaine for mechanical engineering. Andrew is going to USM and he's going to major in computer science. I'd say hold your applause to the end, but I don't want you to do that either, because they all deserve their own little round, don't they? Hannah is going to go to Newberry College and study graphic design. Brandon is going to go to Emerson College down in Boston to study film and media production. And Sheldon is going to go to Maine Maritime Academy to study marine engineering technologies. I do want to say one more thing about this group of seniors in particular. They have a very large social conscience, and I don't know if it's just their generation or the year that they were born, but if I say I need help with something, they're like, Miss With needs help. They send a text out, they're all here in like 5 minutes, Miss With needs help. They're amazing that way, and I know that they are an honor society, and they're sports team captains, and they're artists, and they're dancers, and they're everything, and I just really have loved teaching this group of kids. Our last piece is called Up from the movie, and you will enjoy it. so much for coming tonight. We hope you'll come next week for the chorus concerts, Tuesday and Wednesday, and the dance concerts the week after that, Tuesday and Wednesday, and Jazz a la Mode Thursday. Special shout out to Doug Stubbins for helping, Dave Hanwright for helping, Josh Pulsifer for recording. Thanks, guys. Thank you.